Percy, and I am back with another video. Today I am doing a video that I have been wanting to do for so ridiculously long. I love watching these on other people's channel. It looks like a kind of an easy video to do, fun, and allow you to see some books that you don't normally see on my channel, and that is the On My Shelf tag. So I have 17 shelves, and I've numbered them. Well, I have a big bookshelf here that you can't see, then I have that big bookshelf, this bookshelf here, a bookshelf down there, a little one, and then another one the same size as that over there that you can't see. So I have a lot of bookshelves. I've numbered them, the shelves 1 through 17, and I think the one that has the least amount of books has approximately 15 books. So I said that I would use the book coordinate as 15. So I asked on Twitter for some coordinates, and I got some, and I will be doing the On My Shelf tag for you today with those numbers. So the idea is, if you don't know, you basically ask for coordinates for the shelf number and the book number on that shelf. And then you go pull these random books off your shelves and just talk about it, talk about when you got the book, what you thought of the book, the story behind you and the book, basically. So I have 5 coordinates here, and I'm just gonna get started. So the first coordinate was 15:6. So that is this little bookshelf back here, the bottom shelf of it. And that book was The Human Bone Manual by Tim D. White and Pietra A. Fulkins. This is a book that I had for my Bioarchaeology of the Human Skeleton class last year, which was probably my favorite class in my entire undergraduate experience, at least definitely one of them, where we studied all of the bones of the human skeleton and a lot of other bioanthropology things like burial practices and cultural ideas of the skeleton and bones, and also different archaeology sort of things. So we had weekly bone quizzes where you get these like dirty, broken, tiny little fragment of a bone from an archaeological site, and you have to say, this is part of the right temporal bone. So you have to like say it's part of the temporal bone, it's from the right side of the body rather than the left side of the body, and then it might also ask you to identify the like sigmoidal suture or the whatever other thing that might be identified on a certain bone. So it was a really tough class, but I really loved it, and I did a lot of sketching of bones, and we each had our own skeleton to study, and it was just incredibly fascinating. So this just has like different pictures in it of the different bones, so you can study siding and all the different parts of them. So it's basically just like a manual, and it's basically reminds me of my favorite class. Then the second set of coordinates I have is 2-7. So that's for this big bookshelf here that you can't see, the second shelf. And that book is Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, the concluding book of my favorite series in the whole world, which is bittersweet, but I love it, and it is high time that I have another reread of this series, of course, because it's been too long since I've reread them, and I gotta reread them this year. But, you know, my favorite series ever, my childhood. Like, I read the first book in 1st grade, and then the books came out every 2 years of my childhood. It was like waiting for the next Harry Potter book and rereading them all before the next one came out. So, yes, Harry Potter. That's shelf number 2, book 7, is Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. Then, the third coordinate I had was 8-13, and 8-13 is this shelf right here. I don't know if you can see the one I'm pointing to. This bottom shelf on this part of the big bookshelf on my wall. And that is Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief. And this book I really love. I read them for the first time in winter, halfway through my senior year of high school. So that would have been the beginning of 2010, January 2010 maybe. And I loved them. All 5 of the series had been out at that point, so I marathoned them, but I couldn't go on the Heroes of Olympus after that because the first one of that didn't come out until later that fall. But I loved these. You guys probably know from watching my videos that I absolutely adore Greek mythology, and I love children's books, middle grade books, and this was just a fantastic adventure that I really loved and wove a lot of mythology in with a cool take on it, and I love this series. I actually just reread them in January last month, and I'm planning on reading The Heroes of Olympus next month for the first time because I haven't read them, but love Percy Jackson. The next coordinate is 10, 3, so that is 9, 10. So 10 is this one right here, and that is a lot of my books from sociology classes and humanities classes from university. And that book is Black Skin, White Masks by Frantz Fanon. This book deals with a lot of anti-colonial stuff. It basically deals with black identity and colonialism in French colonies in Africa, and just a lot of psychology and identity, and I found it really fascinating. It was an interesting read. So yeah, that is 10-3. And finally, the last coordinate is 17-10. So that's my last shelf. That's the little bookshelf over here that you can't see, the bottom shelf. And that is Petersons' Field Guide to Birds of North America. And this book, I believe I got as a gift many years ago from my mom, and she loves birds. She knows so much about birds, and she, when she was in high school, she worked for the summer in an internship at the Smithsonian with Roxy Laybourne, who is was one of the premier ornithologists, especially forensic ornithology, which is really cool. So things like if a bird crashes into the turbine of a plane and causes it to crash, they bring the fragments of the feathers to her, and she would look at the little fragments of the feathers and say what type of bird this was. But anyway, that's a tangent. So my mom really loves birds, and she always knows different types of birds. So she got this for me. It has really nice colored illustrations. And so I have Petersons' Field Guide to North American Birds. So those are all 5 of the books for my first on my shelf, and I will definitely be doing more of these, so keep an eye out for those in the future. But yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed seeing some books that you normally wouldn't see off my shelves, and let me know if you've read any of these or want to read any of them, and I will see you guys later. Bye!